Understanding domain names for your brand. When people first started connecting computers in networks, you were required to type a unique numeric code to visit a host or a network. Those codes are called Internet Protocol addresses, or IP addresses. By the early 1980s, as the number of computers and networks grew, it was getting increasingly harder to remember and communicate all those IP addresses. This is how the DNS, Domain Name System, came into existence. Computer scientists created a system where you can register a domain name that is made of easily readable letters and numbers and directed towards your IP address. Soon after, the top-level domain extensions were created to serve different categories of domains. .com, as short for commercial, to serve commercial organizations. .edu, for education-related entities. .gov, for government institutions, and a few others. The domain name system is managed by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. ICANN is a non-profit organization that creates and implements the policies for domain names and manages permissions for domain name registrars to sell domain names. Domain names can't be bought for an indefinite period of time. You pay a registration fee yearly, which depends on the domain extension and registrar, and are the legal owner of the domain name for as long as you keep renewing it. If you acquire a domain name owned by someone else, you will be paying the agreed acquisition price and your chosen registrar fee, usually around $10 to $15 for the most common domain name extensions. Nowadays, we have a lot more extensions than back when domains came about, for geographic locations like .co.uk for the United Kingdom or .fr for France, for different fields of activity, .app, .website, .dev and many others. Often brands get creative using country extensions. For example, many artificial intelligence companies use the .ai domain name extension, which is the country code for Anguilla, or .me, the country code for Montenegro. That comes with certain benefits. Availability, since those extensions are new in comparison to top-level extensions, and affordability, they usually cost significantly less than their top-level counterparts. It also carries some risks. Since those domains belong to countries, they fall under the jurisdiction of those countries and are managed by them, which may pose a problem if you are looking to build a global and/or lasting brand. With so many options, how can a business owner make the right choice when it comes to picking a domain name for their brand? There are many factors that can affect that choice, and the process is very individual. Just as the right domain name can multiply your marketing efforts and give your business a great start, a bad domain name can act as a hole in your marketing budget, drain your promotional efforts, or even worse, drive customers to competing brands. Here are some factors that usually affect the domain selection process. Budget. For projects that are in the explorative stage, just starting out, trying a concept that is not market-proved, or hobby brands, budget is usually an issue. Surely a premium domain name can expedite the process of reaching an audience, investors and partners. But sometimes at this stage it is not even a choice. Entrepreneurs without funding can't afford domain names with global demand. A common solution is to look at new domain name extensions where the desired brand name is more likely to be available. Or add words to the domain name. Many globally recognized brands started this way. Facebook.com was thefacebook.com. Tesla.com was teslamotors.com. Instagram.com was insta.am, just to name a few. Target market. Businesses targeting a local audience can operate on the local domain extension for their country. A French audience would feel familiar with the .fr extension, and internet users would know a site has content related to Russia if it operates on a .ru domain name. For global brands or brands with the vision to become global, local extensions can quickly become limiting. Many brands that operate globally acquire the local extensions of their brand name to host their site and content in the country's language. In those cases, there may be some hoops to hop. Different countries have different regulations, so you may be required to have a registered address or business in order to get a specific domain extension. The renewal and registration price may also vary. For example, .pr, the country code for Puerto Rico, costs over $1,000 each year for renewals on top of the acquisition cost. Local geographic extension can be a good solution for smaller local brands. Where the local country's audience is familiar and comfortable with the extension and the brand owner can easily acquire the matching domain name, or global brands trying to reach a local audience. Brand and IP strategy. Larger organisations often have dedicated departments dedicated to managing their brand development, image and IP assets. This has a significant effect on the type and number of domain names they secure for their brands. Often they secure all the popular extensions for their brand name, possible typos, along with domain names for PR campaigns and new products. For startups or smaller businesses, that may not be a priority. It is often the case that the attention a brand puts on their digital presence and brand consistency grows in parallel with the brand's success and popularity. Presently, there are over 351 million domain names registered globally. Even before the 2020 pandemic, domain names were compared to real estate, stocks and bonds in terms of ROI, both as brand and investment assets. Today, the focus on online interaction and commerce is even stronger. When everyone is looking online, having a good spot on the internet, memorable, meaningful, easy to spell and pronounce domain name is more important than ever. The ever-changing nature of social networks rules, search engine algorithms, privacy issues have made many global and local businesses realise the importance of building an independent, strong brand that is not reliant on third parties for new and repeat customers acquisition. Having a matching global domain name makes that much easier to achieve. To find out more about domain names, or if you need help with acquiring the best domain name for your brand, feel free to get in touch. If you don't invest in your brand, who will?